got way to fucking point. I did 3 hours. Good job. Definitely back. For pterodactyl, sorry, they're not bad.
Good, how'd your video come out? I had the idea for it, but I haven't known it.
That's cool. What's the idea?
So it's kind of like mocking like the culture of like just buying a camera to like be able to like be a photographer and just make that your career. So I'm gonna take a disposable camera and use a flashlight to press in like that's like the flash and try to like light it up during like a nighttime for like 10 minutes or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I have so far, but I don't know if that's gonna work out.
Is there places where you can post it?
Yeah, I did. Sorry, they're not bad. You will get at least 65 regardless. Finish everything. But, by the name, and I'm gonna watch the rest of it, whatever, and then I'll go right. Yeah, what do you guys doing right now? To talk about what's the name of the song? Masters? Sure, you probably know. I hope so. It's fucking 2 o'clock and yeah, we're having class. I wasn't able to.
As you can see, or as you've probably noticed, I have Tourette's, and it's a disorder where I have to tick or involuntarily move, or semi-involuntarily move at random times, and I used to have to hold them in like all the time. That was mostly in middle school and most of high school, because I'd get picked on for doing things like that, or actually that wasn't one of them until about 2 years ago. But one of them that I used to do was have to turn my head and look behind me all the time like that, even when there's like a wall right behind me. And I used to have to blink all the time, like that. I don't try and suppress them very much anymore because it's totally not worth it. When I do suppress them, it's all I can think about is not ticking, and I don't get what I'm supposed to be getting out of the lectures that way. I'm focused 100% on not ticking, and I don't hear what's being said in the lecture. So yeah, when I was trying to suppress them, you might have noticed I got really still, and I was very tense for a lot of it, because if I moved my head at all, I would have lost it and gone into the head tics. And yeah, suppressing the tics is not fun at all. That's why I don't do it anymore. It's not worth it to seem normal in class but not get anything out of class because you're too busy trying to suppress the tics that are just a part of you. And when you do tic, when your brain is telling you that it lies to you all the time. It tells you that if you just do this one thing, it'll all be okay and it'll all go away, and no one will notice or anything like that. You got to do it, and then when you do it, it's 5 seconds later, your brain's telling you, okay, just one more time, you got to do it. It never stops. Like, once you do it, your brain's telling you, come on, do it again, do it again, do it again. And your brain is stuck on repeat, kind of. Like, when you're trying to suppress it, that's all you can think about is doing the tic or not doing the tic. And it's a really tough way to go through classes and stuff, where you gotta sit still and pay attention, especially with ADHD on top of that, which most people with Tourette's also have ADHD. Some of the tics that I do have right now are obviously the head jerk and the neck stretching and constricting my muscles like that in my neck. Also flexing my armpits out like that and then pushing them back in. That one was kind of hard to resist. Also the head jerk one too. And I suck my gut in. I don't know if you can see with this shirt, but I suck my gut in a lot, and I have to push it out sometimes in a weird way. And one that was really getting to me in that video was I have this weird thing with my toes where I have to stretch them in a certain way, and usually that one comes in like little bursts of 5 to 10 second ticks. Like, I gotta do it for 5 to 10 seconds, and that one I was getting really worried about during that video. That's probably when I looked worried in the video most of the time. So a lot of people associate Tourette's as involuntary cussing, or they'll call it the cussing disease or stuff like that. And that, I don't have that. Less than 10% of people with Tourette's actually have that. It's called coprolalia. It's very rare in cases of people with Tourette's. That's just those are the most severe cases, and those are the ones that usually get brought up the most. There are a few things that help quiet the tics, or like I don't have to think about them and they pretty much just go away, is when I'm doing physical exercise, like a sport or something. I don't have tics when I'm focusing on that. I don't have to worry about the tics because they just disappear for some reason. A lot of people with Tourette's also have ADHD, and I'm one of those people. There's a whole lot of disorders that go along with those two. Like, I have very mild obsessive compulsive tendencies sometimes. Like, everything on my desk has to be completely parallel and everything in its place, or I can't focus on anything. And yeah, that can get rough sometimes. Some of the medications that they prescribe, nothing's ever really worked for me with Tourette syndrome medications. The patches that they tried always gave me rashes, and they were really itchy all the time. And the different pills and stuff that they had me take would just, like, I wasn't me when I took them. I would just be crazy tired all throughout the day, or not being able to focus. It would suppress the tics, but that's because it suppressed, like, a lot of other things too. And so I had to stop that one very soon after I started taking it, like within a month or two, I think. There are other kinds of, like, therapy and stuff that you can take where you one of them is, like, you gotta, when you feel the urge to tick, like, you press your palms together like this. This is one that I heard of online, and this actually does, it's helping right now a little bit, but when you're focused on a motor task other than the tick is supposed to subside. So yeah, suppressing them is not fun. It's like it's like trying to hold your breath for as long as you can, or trying to suppress a yawn. It whenever you do it, it feels okay at first, but then as time progresses, it gets worse and worse and builds up, and then when you finally let it out, it's like a whole, it's way worse than it would have been otherwise. Like, when you're holding your breath, you take a huge breath in, and then you gotta breathe heavily for a little bit before you get your breath back. Or when you try and suppress a yawn, you you can hold out for a little bit, but then it's like way more noticeable than it would have been otherwise. And so that's something you might try to get a feeling for what it might be like to have Tourette's and to tick all the time. Nope. Shark. Spider. This guy distracted me while I was trying to do the video.